Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Purnamansa Paripraja Picharja Stotra Tatashi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kunigiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Welcome everybody to Chaitanya Charitamrita with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Thursday, September 4th, 2025. Today we're starting with Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 1682. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Guru Maharaj, would you like to read?
Okay. Ambujam ambuni jatam, kvachitapi najatam ambujadambu, murabidi tadvarit viparitam, parambujan mahad nadi jata. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the water, but water never grows from a lotus. All such contradictions, however, are wonderfully possible in Krishna. The great river Ganges has grown from his lotus feet. Gangar Mahatva Sadhya Sadhana Tahar Vishnu Padotpati Hanuman Alankar. The real glory of Mother Ganges is that she has grown from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Such a hypothesis is another ornament called Hanuman. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Mandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Puri Priye Pancha Kolpatarupyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakti Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been discussing one of the verses recited by Like the Wind by Keshav Kashmiri, the great Digvijay. The Lord has found both faults and good qualities in the verse. Here the Lord is appreciating a good quality. Sthula e pancha dosha, pancha alankar, sukshma bichariye jodi, achoye apar. I have simply discussed the 5 gross faults and 5 literary embellishments of this verse. But if we consider it in fine detail, we will find unlimited faults. Pratibha kavitva tomar devata prashade abichar kabye abhashya pare dosha bhate. You have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity by the grace of your worshipable demigod. But poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism. Bichari kobitwa koile koi sunirmol shalankar koile arto kore chalamal. Poetic skill used with due consideration is very pure, and with metaphors and analogies, it is dazzling. Shunya Prabhur Vyakya Digbijay Bismito Mukhe na Nishare Bhakya Pratibha Stampito. After hearing the explanation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the champion poet was struck with wonder. His cleverness stunned. He could not say anything. Kohite cha hoye kichu na aishe uttara tabe vicharaye mone haya fanparo. He wanted to say something, but no reply would come from his mouth. He then began to consider this puzzle within his mind. Paruya balak koile, mor buddhi lob, jani Saraswati more koriyachen kop. This mere boy has blocked my intelligence. I can therefore understand that Mother Saraswati has become angry with me. Report. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that all intelligence comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as the Paramatma. The Paramatma gave the Pandit the intelligence to understand that because he was proud of his learning and wanted to defeat even the Supreme Lord, by the will of the Lord and through the agency of Mother Saraswati, he had been defeated. One should not, therefore, be too proud of one's position. Even if one is a greatly learned scholar, if he commits an offense to the lotus feet of the Lord, he will not be able to speak properly in spite of his learning. In every respect, we're controlled. Our only duty, therefore, is to surrender always to the lotus feet of the Lord and not be falsely proud. Mother Saraswati created this and wanted to, Mother Saraswati created this situation to favor the champion Pandit so that he might surrender unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ye bhyakya korilo she monusher nahil shokti nimai mukhe rohi bole apone Saraswati. The wonderful explanation the boy has given could not have been possible for a human being. Therefore, Mother Saraswati must have spoken personally through his mouth. Eta bhavi kohe shuno nimai pandit taba vakya shuniyami vela bismit. Thinking thus, the Pandit said, "My dear Nimai Pandit, please hear me. Hearing your explanation, I am simply struck with wonder. Alankara nahi pada, nahi shastra bhyas, kemone e shabarto korile prakash." I am surprised. You are not a literary student and do not have long experience in studying the Shastras. How have you been able to explain all these critical points? Ihashuni Mahaprabhu Oti Bora Rangi Tahar Hridoy Jani Kohe Kori Vangi. Hearing this and understanding the Pandit's heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied in a humorous way. Shastra bichar bhalo monda nahi jani Saraswati ye balai she boli bani. My dear sir, I do not know what is a good composition and what is bad, but whatever I've spoken must be understood to have been spoken by Mother Saraswati. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'm really not very qualified, but whatever I've been able to speak must have been by the grace of your goddess. Ihashuni Digbijoy. Ihashuni Digbijoy Korilo Nishchoy, Shishu Dware, Devi More Koila Parajoy. When he heard this judgment from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Pandit sorrowfully wondered why Mother Saraswati wanted to defeat him through a small boy. Aji Tare Nibe Dibo Kori Japa Dhyan Shishu Dware Koila More Eta Apaman. I shall offer prayers and meditation to the goddess of learning, the champion concluded, and ask her why she has insulted me so greatly through this boy. Vastuta Saraswati Shuddha Shloka Korilo Bichara Samoy Tar Buddhi Achchadila. Saraswati had in fact induced the champion to compose his verse in an impure way. Furthermore, when it was discussed, she covered his intelligence, and thus the Lord's intelligence was triumphant. Tobe Shishyagon Shabahashite Lagila Ta Shaba Nishedi Prabhu Kobire Kohilo. When the poetic champion was thus defeated, all the Lord's disciples sitting there began to laugh loudly. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them not to do so, and he addressed the poet as follows. Tumi Bada Pandit Mahakabi Shiromani Yar Mukhe Bahirai Vaiche Kabya Bani. You are the most learned scholar and the topmost of all great poets. For otherwise, how could such fine poetry come from your mouth? Tomar Kabitwa Jena Ganga Jal Dhara Toma Sham Kabi Kurta Nahi Deki Ar. Your poetic skill is like the constant flow of the waters of the Ganges. I find no one in the world who can compete with you. Baba Bhuti Joya Debo Har Kolidash Ta Shabar Kavitwe Ache Dosher Prakash. Even in the poetic compositions of such great poets as Baba Bhuti, Jayadev, and Kalidas, there are many examples of faults. Dosha Guna Bichar
We have something in the chat here.
Something in the chat?
Yeah, Praveen Prabhu writes, that should have been the line of Dig Vijay, and hence it was humorous for Nimai Pandit to say that.
I guess you mean to say that we would expect the Digvijay to rationalize his defeat and say, well, even in the compositions of great poets, there are such faults. But instead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has said this. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to praise the poet now, and so he's doing so.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, can we assume that Keshava Kashmiri was some type of impersonalist despite worshipping Mother Saraswati?
A materialist, first of all, because he's concerned with his reputation, with defeating others, with being a champion in poetics. This is a materialistic mentality. And we might also assume that he has an impersonalistic understanding, although that's not, his spiritual views are not really explored in the text, but it wouldn't surprise us to find that he had impersonalistic notions.
We have
That's common. People are worshiping this god or that god to get some material advantage. And that's what we find with Kalidas, with the Digvijay, who's not worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's worshiping a demigoddess, and that too for some power. That too for some power. So this is materialistic mentality. And we find this people worshiping this or that demigod for material advantage. And often they do have some idea of God, but their idea of God is deep in the background and maybe certainly of an impersonal cast. Yes.
Praveen Prabhu writes, E Mata Prabhura Komala Vyavasaya Ya Hare Jinena Seha Dukkha Nahi Paya. The Lord's behavior was so gentle that whoever was defeated by him felt no distress. Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya 13:1-12.
Yes, we're seeing this now in the behavior of the Lord. He could rub it in. He could further smash the poet. He could throw some ironic comments at him. He could allow his disciples to laugh at the Digvijay's foolishness and so on. But instead, he chooses to speak gently. Our Sheshika Prabhu advises, leave the air clean. That is, if you're having an argument with someone or a disagreement, still then end it up in such a way that the encounter ends without animosity, with whatever good feelings may be possible. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is demonstrating this in his encounter with the Digvijay. We find this also in the behavior of Lord Krishna. I believe the quality is called something like sweetness of speech. And the example given in Nectar of Devotion is that after defeating the Kaliya Nag, Lord Krishna spoke to him very sweetly, and please don't mind that I've treated you so strongly. It's my duty. What can I do? So this is sweetness. Krishna could have further reviled the snake, but instead he spoke to him in such a humble way. That's another attractive quality of the Lord.
Right.
All right. Yes.
Gupta Prabhu writes, Mahaprabhu always chose to humble rather than humiliate.
Yes. Thank you. Dosha guna bichar opa korimani kovitwa korone shokti taha she vakani. Such mistakes should be considered negligible. One should see only how such poets have displayed their poetic power. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, it is said, Tad bhag vishargo tranataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhadya vachapi namanyanantasya yashonkitani yat srinvanti gayanti grananti sadhava. In explaining the glories of the Lord, inexperienced men may compose poetry with many faults, but because it contains glorification of the Lord, great personalities read it, hear it, and chant it. Despite its minute literary discrepancies, one must study poetry on the merits of its subject matter. According to Vaishnava philosophy, any literature that glorifies the Lord, whether properly written or not, is first class. There need be no other consideration. The poetic compositions of Bhavaputi or Srikanta include Malati Madhava, Uttara Charita, Vira Charita, and many similar Sanskrit dramas. This great poet was born during the time of Bhojaraj as the son of Nilakanta, a Brahmin. Kalidas flourished during the time of Maharaj Vikramaditya, and he became the state poet. He composed some 30 or 40 Sanskrit dramas, including Kumara Sambhava, Abhigyan Shakuntala, and Meghaduta. His drama Raghuvangsha is especially famous. We've already described Jayadeva in chapter 13 of the Adi Lila. Jaishavacha Polya Kichu Na Lobe Amar Kishyer No Man Mui Naha Tomar. I am not even fit to be your disciple. Therefore, kindly do not take seriously whatever childish impudence I have shown. So this is, again, a humble way to end an argument. Don't mind. I may have said something impudent. Please excuse me. Aji Vasha Yaha Kali Miliba Abar Shuniba Tomar Mukhe Shastrer Bichar. Please go back home, and tomorrow we may meet again, so that I may hear discourses on the Shastras from your mouth. E mote nijo ode, gela dui jon, kobi ratre koilo, saraswati aradham. In this way, both the poet and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to their homes. And at night, the poet worshipped Mother Saraswati. Saraswati Shapne Tare Upadesho Koilo Shakshad Ishar Koli Prabhu Ke Janilo. In a dream, the goddess informed him of the Lord's position and the poetic champion could understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Prate Ashi Prabhu Pade Loila Shoron Prabhu Kripa Koilo Tar Kondila Bandhar. Would you like to read, Rashananda?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Okay. Let's see, did you just read 107?
That's 107. You want to read the English?
Okay. Yeah. Translation. The next morning, the poet came to Lord Chaitanya and surrendered unto his lotus feet. The Lord bestowed his mercy upon him and cut off all his bondage to material attachment. Purport. The same process advocated by Lord Sri Krishna in his teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, surrender unto me in all instances, was advocated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The champion surrendered unto the Lord, and the Lord favored him. One who is favored by the Lord is freed from material bondage, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Jaktva daham punarjanma naiti mam eti so Arjuna. Okay, text 108. Bhagavanta Digvijay Sapla Jivana Vidya Bale Paila Mahaprabhura Charana. Translation. The poetic champion was certainly most fortunate. His life was successful by dint of his vast learning and erudite scholarship, and thus he attained the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport. Sri Narottam Das Thakur has sung that the best qualification for taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya is to be the most fallen, because the Lord came specifically to deliver the fallen souls. In this age, there are very few scholars. Almost everyone is a fallen meat eater, drunkard, woman hunter, or gambler. Such persons are never considered learned scholars, even if they pose as such. Because these so-called scholars superficially see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu associates with the fallen souls, they think that he is meant for a lower class of men, but that they do not need him. Thus, such scholars do not take to the Krishna consciousness movement. To be puffed up with false learning, therefore, is a disqualification for accepting the Krishna consciousness movement. But here is a special example, for although the poetic champion was a greatly learned scholar, the Lord also favored him because of his humble submission. Would you like to comment, Guru Maharaj? Naveen Prabhu, are you available to read? Naveen Prabhu. Okay. Let's see.
Sorry, not right now. Sorry, bro.
It's okay, Prabhu. No problem. Venkatesh Prabhu.
Yes, kindly tell me which verse is it? 10.
We're on text 109, and we have a hand. Vaidehi. You're welcome to unmute, Vaidehi. Okay, maybe that was an accident.
I can read if you want.
Yeah, if Vaidehi, you're welcome to ask your question. If not, yeah. Okay, Venkatesh Prabhu, you're on for 1019.
Okay. A Sabalila Varni Ya Chena Vrindavana Dasa Ye Kichu Vishesha Iha Karila Prakasha. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has described all these incidents elaborately. I have only presented the specific incidents he has not described. Text 110. Caitanya Gosarira Leela Amritera Dhara Sarvendriya Viptahaya Shravaneyahara. The nectarian drops of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes can satisfy the senses of everyone who hears them. Text 111. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Yara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 16th chapter, describing the pastimes of the Lord in his childhood and youth.
Do you have any comments, Venkatesh Prabhu?
Yeah, just some time back, I was again I was hearing this song, and it was sung by Prabhupada, and that was Gaurangera Dutipada. So the translation of that song also mentions something like that. I'll just read that. Yeah. In the first stanza, there is a line. Gaurangera Madhur Lila Jara Karna Praveshila Hridaya Nirmala Velothar. So, if one is captivated by pleasing pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, dirty things in his heart will become cleansed. This is a song by Narottam Das Thakur. And also, in that song later he says about Navadvip Dham also. Chi Gauda Mandala Bhumi, Jeba Jane Chintamani, Tara Hoy Braja Bhumi Vas. If one simply understands the land of Navadvip is not different from Vrindavan, then he actually lives in Vrindavan. So here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in this final closing verses of the chapter also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Swami mentions the same thing, that nectarian drops of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes can satisfy senses of everyone who hears them. So the Supreme Lord performed amazing pastimes here, which cannot be compared by any other person, cannot be performed by any other person. And also, Vrindavan Das Thakur has described them in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. So that is more elaborate. That is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says. It's an inspiration for us to read that further. And also we can see the humility of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, though he is writing all these things, he's giving the credit to his predecessor acharyas, that he's actually seeking their mercy and he's following their footsteps. So, Maharaj, can please say more?
You wanted me to say more? No. Just again and again, we hear that Chaitanya, that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami doesn't wish to repeat what his predecessor Acharya Vrindavan Das Thakur has said. That would be impudent. So he's just repeating in summary what he's heard from Chaitanya Bhagavat and elaborating where there are topics that Vrindavan Das Thakur has not discussed. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, to follow up on that, why would it be impudent? Usually we try to repeat what the predecessor acharyas say, but in this case, not. So
the idea is that one should not try to surpass the previous acharya, especially if you're writing poetry. So he's written his poetry, but I'll write better poetry. He's written his account, I'll write a better account. No, just I'm only going to summarize, not try to surpass. And Kaviraj Goswami says that. He says, I'm really just repeating what I've heard from Vrindavan Das Thakur. I'm just taking the remnants of Vrindavan Das Thakur. In this way, he presents things. Yes. But from another point of view, yes, if we just repeat what the acharyas have said, that's a kind of homage to them, or shows respect to them. And I'm just repeating what the previous acharya has said. That's the duty of the disciple. But both angles of vision are possible.
okay, Videhi, I will ask you to read next after these comments. Praveen Prabhu writes, the shloka Mahatvam Gangaya is not mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat, nor the faults and ornaments.
Yes, so this is exactly what Kaviraj Goswami says. I'm only going to pick up things that Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't discuss. Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't want to increase his book too much, so he didn't describe everything. So I'll pick up some of those things that he left behind.
Praveen Prabhu writes, Chaitanya Bhagavat discusses many incidents, like the situation in Navadvip when the Vijay was coming, and many more pastimes not mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yes.
Guru Maharaj, I have a follow-up here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said that Krishnadas Kaviraj was taking the remnants of this discussion about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm wondering in what context Krishnadas Kaviraj heard this. Like, how would they, in our current program, we have classes in the morning where we talk about Krishna, and what was their program sort of for talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Was there something like that, like some organized way that they would come together?
This would go on even without an institution. Prabhupada mentions that in his childhood, this was what the villagers would do. you know, that's one thing, and is that in cities, everything's, what's the word, grand. But in the villages, this is what people do. In the evening, they get together and they'll hear some Krishna Katha. They'll hear some Chaitanya Katha. This is their pleasure after working in the fields or working in the shop or whatever. In the evening, now we get to hear some Mahabharat, some Chaitanya Lila. This would be the pleasure of the people. They wouldn't go to the bars and brothels, or they wouldn't go to a cinema because there were no cinemas. They would get together and hear. So this Chaitanya Lila and would be heard and discussed among the people. And it appears that Vrindavan Das Thakur's composition was already well known. Hare Krishna.
Venkatesh Prabhu writes, Krishnadas Kaviraj heard later pastimes of Mahaprabhu from Mahaprabhu's later associate, Raghunath Das Goswami at Radhakund. From whom did he hear Mahaprabhu's childhood pastimes?
We don't know, I don't know specifically, but we read elsewhere in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Kaviraj Goswami lists some of his sources. Raghunath Das Goswami also, Murari Gupta's notebooks, he cites them as being one of his principal sources. Hare Krishna.
Today we're moving on to chapter 17. And Vedehi Masaji, are you available? You can read. Gurumaj, should we read the intro?
Yes.
Okay. So Vedehi
Masaji can read if she's available.
You can read the intro to chapter 17, which we are beginning.
The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth. The 17th chapter, as summarized by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya, describes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime from his 16th year until the time he accepted the renounced order of life. Srila Vrindavan Dasa Thakura has already vividly described these pastimes in the Chaitanya Bhagavata. Therefore, Krishna Dasa Kaviraja Goswami describes them only briefly. Vivid descriptions of some portions of his pastimes are seen in this chapter. However, because Vrindavan Dasa Thakur has not elaborately described them. In this chapter, we shall find descriptions of the Mango Distribution Festival and Lord Chaitanya's discourses with Charkazi. Finally, the chapter shows that the same son of Mother Yashoda, Lord Krishna, tasted 4 transcendental mellows of devotional service in his form of Sasinanda, the son of Mother Sasi. To understand Srimati Radharani ecstatic love for him. Lord Krishna assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The attitude of Srimati Radharani is considered the super excellent devotional mentality. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself assumed the position of Srimati Radharani to taste her ecstatic situation. No one else could do this. When Sri Krishna assumed the form of the four-armed Narayan, the gopis showed their respect, but they were not very interested in him. In the ecstatic love of the gopis, all worshipable forms but Krishna are rejected. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani has the highest ecstatic love. When Krishna, in his form of Narayan, saw Radharani, he could not keep his position as Narayan and again assumed the form of Krishna. The king of Raja Bhumi is Nanda Maharaj, and the same person in Navadvipa is Jagannath Mishra, the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, Mother Yashoda is the queen of Brajabhumi, and in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, she is Sachimata. Therefore, the son of Sachi is the son of Yashoda. Sri Nityananda occupies an ecstatic position of parental love in servitude and fraternal attraction. Sri Advaita Prabhu exhibits the ecstasy of both fraternity and servitude. All the lords are associates situated in their original love, engaged in the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The same absolute truth who enjoys as Krishna. Sundara, who plays his flute and dances with the gopis, sometimes takes part in the Brahmana family and play the part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accepting the renounced order of life. It appears contradictory that the same Krishna accepted the ecstasy of the gopis, and of course this is very difficult for an ordinary person to understand. But if we accept the conceivable energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can understand that everything is possible. There is no need of mundane arguments in this connection because mundane arguments are meaningless in regard to incon- an inconceivable potency. At the end of the 16th chapter, Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami, following in the footsteps of Srila Vyasadeva, has summarized all the Adi Leela pastimes separately.
Thank you. And now it's time for Kirtan. Videhi Mataji, are you available for Kirtan? We usually try to stop around 8 p.m. Okay, Venkatesh Prabhu, are you available?
Yes. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Acharine Nirvishesha Navare Pashatya Deshatari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Deum Ishpad Bharam Devara Jagacharya Shri 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 Varghese Desi Bhaktivinoda Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Manta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Hajas Ki Jai Prem Se Guru Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Vasudeva Vaishnava Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Vinod Sham Radha Kundi Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Gangama Yamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Gaur Bhaktan Ki Jai all glories and devotees, all glories and devotees, all glories, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Wow.
Thank you all and good night. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.